Good day, students. You're welcome to another commerce class. My name remains Mr. Emmanuel. In today's class, we will be considering terms of sales. In different sales of either goods or services, agreements are made at different conditions. We will also be considering means of payment and factors that are considered when choosing a means of payment. So first, there are two main types of terms of sales. It could either be cash payment or payment in arrears. Cash payment or cash sales is a trade agreement where the transfer of goods and services happen and payment is done immediately. That is, the exchange of goods between the buyer and the seller is accompanied by the reciprocation of payment in cash. Cash sales can be divided into four parts or four types. First is prompt cash or prompt payment. This is a payment that happens within a short period of time when the exchange of goods and services takes place. So take for example, you buy a goods from me, or I offer a service to you and you pay me within 1 week. That is prompt cash payment. The second type of cash sales is spot cash payment. That is on the spot payment. This kind of cash sales happens in an environment where, as the goods is being transferred from the seller to the buyer also pays cash immediately to the seller. So it is on the spot. There is no window for payments to be made. It is made on the spot. The third type of cash sales we will be considering is cash on delivery. I'm sure you recall this term from our last class. Cash on delivery is a sales transaction where payment for the goods is done when the goods are delivered to the place that the buyer intends for, whether it's in your house or the buyer's shop. You know, the buyer may be a retailer, and so the shop may be where you want the goods to be delivered. Or as an individual, you request for an item and you want it to be delivered to your house or your office. When payment is made at the point of that delivery, it is called cash on delivery. The last type of cash sales is cash with order. In this agreement, the buyer sends the money for the goods along with the order. So when you are requesting the seller for the goods you want, you are also making payments for those goods. I hope you see the different kinds of cash sales that could happen. Our second term of sales is payment in arrears or credit sales. This kind of agreement happens where the exchange of goods and services has taken place, but the payment for the goods or services is postponed to a later date. So this kind of trade agreement allows that the buyer should take possession and ownership of the goods and services, but payment is delayed. Our next topic is payment, means of payment. Payment is the way of settling a financial transaction or a means of settling an outstanding debt or obligation between a buyer and a seller. So it could be a way of completing the goods that I sent to you, or a way of settling something I have done for you in the past. That is what payment is. What are the factors to consider when choosing your method of payment? First, you would like to consider the volume or the amount of money to be paid. If you want to pay 500 naira, I'm sure you will not want to write a check for 500 naira. And if you want to collect 1 million from someone, I am definitely sure you would not advise that cash should be brought to your house. The second factor to consider in choosing your method of payment is the distance between the buyer and the seller, or the payer and the receiver. The farther away the receiver is from you, the better you choose a more convenient means of payment. Another factor that determines the choice of your means of payment is the cost of the means. Different means of payment comes with a cost. I'm sure you know that when you're doing a bank transfer, you get some charges. In the same way, if you are sending probably a postal order or a money order, there are charges attached to it. Even if you are going to give somebody money in cash, you take transportation from one place to the other to present the cash to the person. Or to withdraw from your ATM and pay in cash, there are some charges for using the ATM. So the cost of your means of payment is another important factor in choosing your means of payment. Another important factor to consider is the safety of the money. If the means of payment does not guarantee the safety of the money, then it is best not to take the risk of using that means. And the last factor we will be considering is the urgency of the payment. If you want to get payment to someone that is in another state, you will clearly not choose to deliver it to the person in cash, because it will not get to the person on time. If you are sending money to someone in another country, you are best going to use a direct transfer and not go through longer means. So the urgency of the payment determines or helps to choose your means of payment. Now let's consider some of the different means of payment that you can choose from. And today in this lesson, we will be considering one of them, which is very popular: legal tender. They are either called legal tender or currency or fiat money. A legal tender is a money that you are bound by law to accept. In Nigeria, it is the naira and kobo. That is, for every government, they have a legal tender. They have the backing of the government and the law. Different countries have their legal tender, and they are available either in paper money or coins. I believe at the end of this class, you have seen one of the means of payment and why you can choose this means of payment, as well as different agreements that you make in every sales. You can choose at the end of this class the best means or term of sales to agree for different types of sales. In our next class, we will be looking at the remaining means of payment. See you all in the next class. Bye.